If you're asking, is YouTube the right platform for my business? The answer is pretty simple. If your customers are using Google, YouTube, and AI tools to ask questions, then you should be showing up in the results with the answers. I spent 5 years growing my business on LinkedIn, and just a few weeks ago, I completely shut it down to refocus all my energy and effort over to YouTube. So here's what I'm going to walk you through. Number 1, why long-form video converts 50 times better than shorts. Number 2, how to publish once and keep getting leads for years. And number 3, why building a brand is the most profitable advertising you can do. Let's jump in. Step number 1, why long-form video converts 50 times better than shorts. So let me tell you a story where I personally switched from one-to-one relationship building on LinkedIn to one-to-many brand building on YouTube. And it honestly, the final straw was one podcast episode that HORMOZI did on the Carrot Show, which I have mentioned before. And in this podcast episode, HORMOZI said, short-form content does not build tremendous influence. And on the first look, you're like, what does that mean? What are we talking about? Well, ultimately, what is influence, if you're asking yourself that? Well, influence is when I ask you to do something, you go ahead and do it. When I ask you to register for a workshop, you go ahead and do it. When I ask you to participate in a charity campaign, you go ahead and do it. When I ask you to book a call with me, you go ahead and do it. So what HORMOZI was talking about is that short form content just does not have a lot of influence over people. It builds awareness, it entertains people, but it doesn't get them to take that next step. And in this podcast, he gave a very simple example to demonstrate this. He basically said, if you want to build the same level of influence with a prospect, so you want them to spend 10 hours with you, so you have built that level of trust so that they're ready to take that next step. Well, if you needed a prospect to spend 10 hours with you until they're ready to make a buying decision, on YouTube, they would simply have to watch 20 videos of yours if they're half an hour each. So 20 videos, not that much to produce. These days, I'm pretty much dropping a video every day, so I could easily create those in basically 3 weeks. Now, if you wanted the same prospect to spend 10 hours with you by consuming short form content, he basically said that would mean they have to consume and you have to create 1,800 short form clips, either on LinkedIn or TikTok or Instagram, assuming they're 20 seconds each. So first of all, like the moment I heard that, I was like, creating 1,800 clips, a bit much. And it's not just the creation part, right? It is actually that your prospect has to consume it. So first of all, you would have to be posting daily for more than 2 years. So every single day you're showing up, you're posting a short piece of content, and you need to ensure that one prospect sees every single of your posts for the next 2 years, which honestly is highly unlikely. Quick note, if you are a business owner and you'd like to show up at the top of search results whenever your ideal customers are looking for services like yours, for the first time ever, I'm running a 10 YouTube video challenge. I'm going to help you publish 10 YouTube videos by December 31st, and then meet you at our in-person mastermind in Texas, where we're going to spend 1 full day focusing on YouTube, and then go to a shooting range together and celebrate actually achieving the milestone of 10 videos by the end of the year. So if you'd like to join me, click the link in the description to apply right away, because we are starting very soon. Now, it probably goes without saying that most customers will consume hours of information from you before they ever decide to buy. However, you might be thinking, okay, Vendy, my customers don't have to spend 10 hours with me. That's a bit much. Honestly, if they only spend 2 hours, that will probably be enough for them to be ready to become my client. So if you needed a prospect to spend 2 hours with you, they could either watch 4 YouTube videos of yours, which is a very small lift, and it's very easy for you to create these as well. However, if you needed the same level of influence and trust to be built using short form content, you would need to produce 360 short form pieces that are 20 seconds each just to achieve the same level of influence. And again, this would mean posting every single day for a year and actually ensuring that your prospect consumes every single post that you're putting out over 360 days, which again is kind of a big ask. So in this podcast, HORMOZI was basically explaining that short-form content builds awareness. So people start to recognize your face, they see you on a platform that are not quite sure what you do, and they're not really there to take the next step. Like, even ask yourself, how many times have you watched a short piece of content and then went to find like a link to click on and to book a call? Probably not that many. And even again on LinkedIn, like, of course I follow HORMOZI. Of course I always give a thumbs up to all his posts. Like, this one says, you must first become consistent before you ever become exceptional. And I'm like, I agree. Let me give this a thumbs up though. Is this post going to have me take the next step of opting into a freebie, for example, or booking a call? Well, not really. Like, it was nice. I was reminded of HORMOZI, but I'm not getting that much value out of it. I'm not really spending that much time with him. Whereas when I watch his YouTube videos, which are like half an hour each, sometimes an hour each, I'm spending so much time with him that he's building a lot of influence over me, right? Because he's providing so much value. And just by sheer watching 4 YouTube videos, I have suddenly spent 2 hours of consuming HORMOZI, and I'm like, oh my God, like, this was super helpful. And I take an advice and I implement it, and I'm like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. I trust him, and I'm so much more likely to take the next step when he gives a directive to, for example, go to school or to register for his book launch, which he just did. And we're gonna talk more about the book launch later in the video. Though one YouTube video I would actually recommend that you watch is the talk HORMOZI gave at the last school event. I'm gonna link it below this video as well. I would love for you to watch the first 15 minutes of this talk, because ultimately he was comparing a short form platform with a long form platform, assuming you have the same number of followers on each. So you have an audience of 1 million followers on TikTok and an audience of 1 million subscribers on YouTube. So on the surface, it looks like, well, they should have the same level of influence because the audience size is the same. However, what HORMOZI said is that what you can expect is that your YouTube audience, the traffic you have on YouTube, is going to be converting 50 times better than from a short platform. And again, the reason for this is that even though the audience size on the surface looks the same, on YouTube, because it's a long-form platform, people have quite literally spent hours with you, way more time with you than on any short platform. So when you have an ask in your video, when you're directing people towards the next step, they're so much more likely to take it because they trust you that much more. Now, personally, I do find it so much easier to produce a single YouTube video that is 30 minutes long rather than posting every single day for 90 days just to achieve the same level of influence. Step number 2, how to publish once and get leads for years. Now, at the top of benefiting from the trust and influence that long-form content builds with your audience, YouTube is also a search engine. Now, at this moment in time, Google is still the world's largest search engine, and YouTube is the second world's largest search engine owned by Google, which means that by producing one YouTube video, you actually get to show up in the search results both on Google and on YouTube. Now, at this moment in time, I have over 25,000 subscribers. However, this is not the main number that actually gets me excited. What I actually value the most is that in the last 365 days, 73% of the views on my channel actually came from showing up at the search results. So 42% of the people found my videos through Google search, and 31% of the people found my videos through YouTube search. And this is exactly how buyers are finding me and my clients daily. I want you to think about YouTube as a library, and rather than having to produce every single day and be stuck in this short form rat race where 24 hours later your post is gone, so you have to produce again and produce again and produce again, YouTube very much is one-time effort for years of upside. So let me show you what I mean. I still have videos from 2021 that are showing up at the very top of search results on Google and are filling my calendar, which is absolutely wild because, first of all, baby Vendy, I can't say this was the best video I could have ever made, though the idea that I could produce something once and have it keep bringing me leads for years to come is something you can really only do on search-based platforms. It's not something that would happen on TikTok, Instagram, or LinkedIn. And just so you know this had nothing to do with luck, let me show a bunch of examples on screen from videos that are more than 1 year old and are still showing up on Google and on YouTube. And here's something I really want to drive home. You do not need to obsess over getting thousands of views in order to show up when your clients are searching. And HORMOZI was actually mentioning this at the last school event as well, because he was saying, if you're making content that's not about the thing you sell, you're ultimately getting views from the people who are not going to buy. So getting views for the sake of views means nothing. And I'm actually gonna prove that to you in just a second with multiple examples. When you're using YouTube as a business owner, I actually want you to be recording videos answering buying questions. So these are very bottom of the funnel questions. They're likely not going to get a lot of views, though they are going to result in a lot of conversions and inbound leads. Because honestly speaking, some of my most valuable videos, and my clients too, actually have less than 1,000 views. Because getting 200 views from very qualified leads can absolutely fill your pipeline. And I want to show you examples of this. Now, here is a video that only currently has 259 views, and it is already showing up at the top of search results on Google in just 12 days. So literally, if you went to Google right now and you type in read YouTube video script, you should see Vendy's face popping up there, even with a tiny video that technically has not that many views, though the people that are searching for this are very high intent customers trying to solve this problem about YouTube. Now, my client Clayton showed up at the top of search results on Google with a video that only had 72 views. However, very quickly, he already got 6 inbound inquiries and closed 1 sale from this video. Why? Because it's a very high intent customer that in his case was trying to understand, how do I hire a Shopify expert? What are all the differences that they need to consider? And again, for somebody who is in a service business and is charging $10,000 per client like Clayton is, this is how powerful YouTube can be when you focus on answering the exact questions of your customers, not trying to go viral. I want to share one more quick story with you. A few weeks ago, I actually had a call with a company in Australia, and they had hired an external agency to come in and help them put together a couple of YouTube videos. And the very first video they published actually got 12,000 views, and they were really excited for that. They're like, beautiful, YouTube is working. And as they were sharing this with me, I just wanted to ask one specific question. I was like, how many leads did you actually get from this video? And the answer was 1. They got 1 lead from a video that got 12,000 views, which for me immediately meant red flags, because this means we're getting a ton of views from non-buyers, which makes no sense if you're a business owner looking to get customers on YouTube. And I say this because when you create videos answering the exact questions of your clients, even a video that only has 200 views is going to deliver you over a dozen leads. That's what you're going for. You're not trying to get famous or go viral on YouTube. You're trying to get customers. So when you're hiring an agency or a YouTube consultant to support you, please make sure that they actually specialize in showing up in search when your ideal clients are looking for answers about your services, rather than just getting you a ton of views that don't ultimately lead to leads or sales. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, Vendy, buyers aren't just searching on Google and YouTube anymore. People are actually going to AI tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude and asking questions there. And you're absolutely right. And the whole point and purpose is that you want to be showing up when your clients are searching there as well. You want AI to recommend your videos as the answer. A few months ago, I actually got this message from Yolanda, and she said, funny story, Vendy. You see, the way I found you is that I went to ChatGPT to ask it, how do I obtain LinkedIn Top Voice badge? And it gave me your YouTube video answering the question. And I literally went to ChatGPT myself to test it, and also got my video, again, baby Vendy, terrible thumbnail by the way, though full screen answering that question. And this is not the only occasion. If you go to Google right now and type in YouTube strategy business owners, you're going to see that Gemini, the AI tool of Google, is actually quoting my YouTube video and suggesting it at the very top. And just so you know, at the time of this recording, this video only has 272 views and was published 2 weeks ago. So when I say YouTube search works, I don't just mean on YouTube. You get to benefit from showing up on Google, YouTube, and inside of AI tools, all by creating a single video. Step number 3, why building a brand is the most profitable advertising. This 6-minute video by HORMOZI, which by the way, I'm gonna link below in the description as well if you wanna watch it, played a massive role in me finally deciding to completely give up LinkedIn and focus all my effort over to building a personal brand on YouTube. And besides the 6-minute video, there's also a 54-second short that I'm gonna link below, which just simplifies branding and the power of it. And basically inside of these videos, HORMOZI is talking about how branding is ultimately your ability to charge higher prices for the exact same thing. And HORMOZI explains this with a value equation from his book, because he basically says that when you have a brand, when you have a personal brand, people want to work with you because their perceived likelihood of achieving the outcome they want actually goes up, and their risk associated with the purchase goes down. And even if you might take a bit longer to deliver on the dream outcome, they still want to work with you, they still want to choose you, because people ultimately have a much bigger conviction that you're going to deliver on your promise and they're going to get the results they're looking for, which basically means that they're willing to pay a premium to work with you and nobody else. And because people want to work with you specifically and they're happy to pay the premium price, your cost to acquire customer ultimately goes down at scale. And not only do you make more per customer, you also get higher quality clients because they have consumed so much of your content, because that is how you build a personal brand. You're ultimately showing up and giving value, and they know everything about you and how you teach, and they basically trust you. They're gonna take the steps you're guiding them through, and they trust you with that process. Now, you might have already heard that HORMOZI just did an insane book launch where he sold 3.6 million books in 72 hours. He crossed the Guinness World Record. And all of this is coming at the back of giving so much value and building up so much trust with his audience. Somebody recently asked me, what do I want my business to look like 10 years from now? And the truth is that I do not know exactly what I'm going to be offering in that time. It might be a service, it might be a product, though the only thing that I do know that matters is having a personal brand and an audience. Because even if your offer changes over time, the trust and relationship you have built with your community by giving them so much value, by over-delivering for free, means that they want to follow you onto your next venture. You might have heard that I took on a challenge of producing 40 YouTube videos in 59 days, and branding is the very reason I did that, because I want to over-deliver, over-serve, because ultimately, and I have mentioned this before, and it's kind of a HORMOZI quote, I'm gonna butcher it a little bit, but ultimately, the market judges you on your free stuff, not your paid stuff. So the way you build a reputation, the way you build a brand is by what you actually give to the world, give to your audience inside of your free content. And after these 40 videos are published, my goal is actually to do another 60 YouTube videos by the end of 2025, because I ultimately am kind of pulling the future forward. It took me 5 years to put out 100 videos on YouTube, and now I ultimately want to put out 100 videos in total in a few months. So if you want to join this crazy challenge and put out 10 YouTube videos by December 31st, click the link in the description and apply right away. If this video was helpful to you, could you please do me the biggest favor and hit that subscribe button down below? This girl is sprinting after 100K subscribers by the end of 2025, and maybe after we do put out those 100 videos, we might make it, though I would so appreciate your support along the journey by hitting that little button below. Now, if you'd like to learn more about how to build a personal brand on YouTube, I actually just released a step-by-step video on it. So go ahead, click over here, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye.